My dearly departed father-in-law used to tell a story. And he said that he had taken his wife, my mother-in-law, to some theater when they were in their early 50s. And everyone in this theater was like a senior citizen, like septuagenarian, octogenarian types. And he said that he looked over and he referred to my mother-in-law as Mama. He said, Mama, soon that'll be us. And then he told the story when he was like in his 70s and early 80s. He'd regularly repeat that. And it doesn't take long, does it, Myles McNamara, to suddenly be there and realize that you're in that category.
It's now us.
It's now, it's getting close, although now I'm getting a little scared. I'm getting a little scared. And it's the things that we need to think about, because it really does kind of go fast, and suddenly you realize where you're at, like at my age, really starting to think about the shelf life. What am I going to do in another, 15-ish years, 10, 15 years? And when we think about our parents, we think about planning for our senior years. There's kind of a lot to think about. And there are a lot of people. Are you finding Myles McNamara, certified senior advisor, owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care, and show host here at KHTS, Aging with Power, first Tuesday of the month? Are you finding that seniors have not planned enough for that time where they're going to start to need some help?
Unfortunately, that seems to be the case, George. And that old saying, people don't plan to fail; they just fail to plan. So, I mean, I've sort of taken, this whole New Year's time of year to, New Year's resolutions or step back and reassess. Have you looked down that age line to see if you're prepared for when things start to happen, when you may need a little helping hand or what have you? And the biggest thing I try to tell folks is that, you hear that old saying, have your affairs in order. And that's not always a negative thing. It's you want things put in the situation of happening exactly how you want them to happen. Should God forbid something happen that you can't talk for a matter of time or ever. So the thing I'm referring to, obviously, is the Advanced Healthcare Directive. I mean, an Advanced Healthcare Directive for our seniors is paramount, because if for whatever reason they're unable to speak on their own behalf for a short period of time or ongoing, who do they want speaking on their behalf? So when you put an Advanced Healthcare Directive in place, it's a legal document. You have both on financial side, you also have the healthcare side. You name an agent. It doesn't have to be a family member. Sometimes we suggest don't make it a family member, because people are going to be following your roadmap, so there won't be any gray areas and there won't be any guilt decisions made. If you really talk about all the hypothetical situations that may or may not occur, the mom or dad or grandma or grandpa, you're just going to see, well, what did they want to happen when this happened? So on the other age of the side of the age spectrum, I always tell people, if you have an adult child who's 18 years or older, same thing applies. If something, God forbid, happens to your child and they're a legal adult, if you don't have an Advanced Healthcare Directive in place for your children, you can't speak on their behalf to the doctors as well. I mean, both my daughters, 21 and 24, they have Advanced Healthcare Directives because they are a legal adult. And just because I'm daddy, if something, God forbid, happens, I can't just step in and start barking orders, because the first thing the doctors or anybody are going to ask me is, where's your Advanced Healthcare Directive? So, and then also, almost like, what's not as flippant as this, but almost like changing the batteries in your smoke detector every 6 months. You don't have to do it this often, but if you do have an Advanced Healthcare Directive, if you do have a trust or a family trust or an estate plan, you need to review it every few years, if not even more frequently, because there's tons of changes in the laws each year. The dynamics may have changed of who you've named as an agent in your Advanced Healthcare Directive. Maybe they're no longer healthy themselves. Maybe they're no longer available. So if you do have an Advanced Healthcare Directive, kudos. If you don't, please get one. But if you do, review that thing a few times. Every 2 to 3 years, go to an estate planning attorney, an elder law attorney. I'll give a shameless plug to my wife, who's an elder law attorney here in town, Jane McNamara. She does, family trusts and things all the time. And all your assets should be in that trust. So again, you are dictating the roadmap of not only your assets, but your health and your finances. And if you have children the age of 18 or older, get one for them as well.
So before it becomes that situation where all of a sudden, like especially what happens in our parents, one of the spouses dies and you find out mom or dad didn't really have anything in place. And especially as they get older, and especially a tragedy like that can also impact their health as well. And maybe even their decision making. It's good to have that ahead so that you've got it.
Right.
Really perfect. We're speaking with Myles McNamara, certified senior advisor, owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care. He also hosts a show here on KHTS the first Tuesday of every month. So we're talking the week after this coming Tuesday, you'll be back.
Yeah, but I am putting it off a week because I'm out of town, so I'm going to be doing my show on Valentine's Day.
Well,
next
there we
month.
go. Aging with Power, so if that's called. You can also check out the schedule and past episodes on our website, hometownstation.com. Now, as far as, let's just talk a little bit about Comfort Keepers in-home care. Now, this is a service for non-medical tasks and things for those who need that sort of help, whether it's elderly or somehow infirm that cannot do those themselves. Is that right?
Exactly.
Activities for daily living, etc.
People want to stay in their own homes, and our seniors want to age in place. That's where they've got their memories of many decades. And sometimes all that's needed is a helping hand in the home. And we have a lot of our adult children who we call the sandwich generation who are trying to operate 26 hours a day to make sure their children are taken care of and taken to soccer practice, what have you, but then also to check in on mom and dad, make sure they're taking their medications on time, make sure that their personal hygiene is being maintained. Maybe they aren't driving anymore, so they need transportation to the doctor. And what Comfort Keepers in-home care does is create a care plan where we will come in and provide that helping hand. We're not nurses. Anything that doesn't take a medical license to do, however, we can do it. And that's the things I mentioned previously is helping mom and dad take their medications on time, make sure they get to their doctor's appointments, make sure they're eating healthy, maybe helping them in and out of the shower and giving them that helping hand that they need to stay safely in their own home.
And you're located 23900 Lyons Avenue, just to make it easy for you, right across the street from Old Orchard Park, basically. There on Lyons Avenue. Right next to, not to give them a plug, but right by the Grand Panda Bricks on that side.
A little bit further down and right next to Doc's Inn. Who doesn't know where Doc's Inn is?
Who doesn't know where Doc's Inn is? So there you have it. But it's right there. It's very easy to see. You got a big sign there. Phone number 287-4200. We're going to be back with Myles and talk about New Year's resolution for seniors. After this, we got some traffic and other business to take care of. This is your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.